Welcome to Creative Genius Labs. I'm your host, Zane Wild. Today, on Creative Genius Labs. Imagine being branded a failure before you even hit 20, expelled for daring to be different. Today, witness how Alan Moore transforms that rejection into a superpower, sparking a creative revolution, and ask yourself, what if your greatest setback was actually the launchpad to your ultimate triumph? Where a lanky teenager with wild eyes stands defiantly before authority. The air thick with disappointment and stale coffee, young Alan Moore barely flinches as he's expelled for dealing LSD. But in that moment of apparent failure, something extraordinary begins to take shape. You see, sometimes the most powerful transformations start with being cast out. Have you ever felt the weight of others' expectations crushing your spirit? For Alan, cleaning toilets and scraping hides in a tannery became his daily reality after expulsion. The stench of chemicals and waste a constant reminder of society's judgment. But here's what most people missed. Those mind-numbing jobs were feeding a fire inside him. Each mundane task fueled his determination to create something extraordinary. His experiments with LSD had shown him that reality was not a fixed thing. Now, trapped in the most fixed reality imaginable, he began filling notebooks with visions of different worlds. While others saw a high school dropout wasting away in dead-end jobs, Alan was learning to see connections that no one else could perceive. In those quiet moments between cleaning shifts, he'd scribble stories, draw characters, weave worlds. His mind, freed from conventional education, began operating on a different frequency entirely. The very qualities that made him an outcast, his intensity, his unwillingness to accept surface-level explanations, his ability to see beyond the obvious, were becoming his greatest strengths. The British comic scene of the late 1970s was where Alan first found his tribe. Here, in the margins of mainstream culture, his peculiar genius began to flourish. He started writing for small publications, each story more ambitious than the last. But Alan wasn't content with simply joining the underground. He wanted to transform it. His scripts grew longer, more detailed, more demanding. Where others saw simple entertainment, he saw a medium capable of profound artistic expression. By the early 1980s, Alan's reputation was growing. His work for Marvel UK and 2000 AD showed flashes of brilliance, but the real revolution began when DC Comics handed him their failing Swamp Thing title. Instead of playing it safe, Alan completely reimagined the character. He turned a monster story into a complex meditation on consciousness, environment, and humanity. The comics industry had never seen anything like it. Readers hadn't either. They were witnessing the birth of a new kind of storytelling. If you're enjoying Creative Genius Labs, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. Unlock hacks that make Vinci, Banksy, and Lady Gaga creative giants. Now, back to the episode. But success brought its own demons. As Watchmen revolutionized comics, becoming the first graphic novel to win the Hugo Award and land on Time's 100 Best Novels list, Alan felt the industry tightening its grip. DC Comics kept the rights through continuous printing, transforming his creation into something he no longer recognized. The blood-stained, smiley face he'd designed as a symbol of innocence lost became ironically prophetic of his own disillusionment. What would you do if the system tried to commodify your soul? Alan's response was radical. He declared himself a ceremonial magician, viewing writing as literal magic, the science of manipulating symbols, words, and images to alter readers' consciousness. He refused to take money from film adaptations, had his name removed from credits. To many, it seemed like career suicide, but Alan understood something profound. True creative power comes from maintaining your integrity even when it costs you everything. In his cramped Northampton home, Alan developed a unique method acting approach to writing. He'd physically act out characters' movements, speak their dialogue aloud, lose himself completely in their world. His scripts became legendary, 80 pages for what would become 24 pages of comics. This wasn't perfectionism, it was possession. Every detail mattered because every detail was part of the spell he was casting. The industry labeled him difficult, dark, dystopian, but they missed the point entirely. Alan wasn't interested in darkness for its own sake. He was showing us that transformation requires facing uncomfortable truths. His later works, like Tom Strong, deliberately returned to more optimistic themes, proving his range extended far beyond the grim and gritty style he'd become famous for. Today, Alan Moore remains in Northampton, still refusing to compromise, still practicing his peculiar magic. His story teaches us something vital about creative power. It's not about fitting into the system or even fighting it. It's about having the courage to create your own reality, even when the world calls you crazy for trying. The expelled drug dealer became a literary revolutionary not by changing himself to fit the world, but by changing the world to accommodate his vision. So here's your challenge. What reality are you accepting that needs to be questioned? What unique perspective do you possess that others might call strange or impossible? Your oddness isn't a flaw to be corrected. It's a power waiting to be unleashed. The most powerful magic isn't in the stories we consume. It's in the stories we dare to tell, the realities we dare to create, and the principles we refuse to compromise. Remember, reality is not a fixed thing, and you, like Alan Moore, have the power to change it. The only question is, will you be brave enough to cast your spell? On the next episode of Creative Genius Labs, Alan Moore's journey proves that embracing your oddness can be a source of power, but what happens when that power thrusts you into a world where you feel like you don't belong? What if I told you the pursuit of artistic integrity could lead you to unimaginable heights, only to confront an even deeper sense of alienation? Next time, we journey into the world of another visionary artist, one who, much like Moore, defied convention and reshaped their art form, but at a cost. This is a story of artistic rejection, identity crisis, and the transformative power found in embracing your unique qualities. Next week, we explore the realm of interdisciplinary and hybrid artists, individuals who dared to blend genres and challenge the very definition of art. Our next story perfectly embodies this spirit, showcasing an artist who seamlessly merged sound, technology, and performance to create a truly groundbreaking and unforgettable experience. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. 7 days, 7 creative legends. Unlock your inner creative genius using the secret tactics of history's most revolutionary artists. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/CGL. Thanks for watching.